Hello, and welcome to part 21 of West Goldfield on City Skylines 2. Now, today, off the bat, there are the usual problems of traffic never flowing right. Even over here, I believe the problem over here did go away. We do have problems with traffic over here still, which is really just backing up super duper far. And I do think I might try to fix this by just adding the slip lane further back. Now I do have to move the farmland a little bit, just because it is in the way. Hopefully that is the problem solved, as cars that want to go right will turn right sooner, but that actually seems to maybe have done the opposite for us. So I do think I will shorten it just a little bit. Now we can see we do have lots and lots of demand for all kinds of buildings, especially industrial. And because we do have an unemployment problem still, I believe, I do think that we should prioritize building industrial buildings. Now, as far as where I want to expand, I think it just makes sense to bring the roads this way too. Something else I do want to keep in mind is where we are going to put our train. As we see, the intermodal train requires rail yards and a certain amount of goods shipped. And it's not letting us see it right now because we don't have it unlocked, but I do believe it takes up a good amount of space. So I might actually save space here, and eventually maybe even put an underpass for it there. Though, like I said, I do want to continue to expand our industrial. But I am also going to add a little bit of detail to the area by putting grass on the side of the roads. I think that made the industrial area not look too industrial. Now, I do think that I am going to start expanding from the top down, just because, like I said, I do want to put the train here, and I don't really want to break anything if I do it. Actually, I think what I'll do is add the infrastructure for it now. And there we go. Now if we ever want to add a train, we have the ability to. Now I do just want to smooth out the terrain a little bit, and I think then we can jump back into expanding our industrial area. I think that looks actually pretty good. Eventually, I will bring the train tracks over so that we can put our intermodal cargo train station there. And now I'll just get back to expanding the industrial area. Something else I would like to do with the industrial area is actually add a few parks, because even though it's an industrial area, parks are needed. As we can see, it does add more park coverage and leisure activities. So I will just add them in between these roads, as it also provides a little bit of space for pass-throughs. Though the parks are a little short, you can still connect them. And there we go. That, I believe, should have added coverage, and it did. Now we can see that two buildings are actually on fire somehow. Wait, this is actually a pretty large fire, so this one is already burned down. And this is being put out currently. Or should be, at least. Now, something else I'm noticing is that there is just a pretty huge amount of traffic on this road. Now, I'm not sure why a ton of cars go this way, but it does seem that there is still a traffic bottleneck, and I do think that's mainly a result of trams. Now, I do think this problem might be able to be solved if I added a dedicated path. Maybe that will stop people from crossing like that, and that should allow trams to function better, and overall, just be faster. Also, I hope that this will reduce traffic and make the city better. Now, we do have lots and lots of demand, so I do think it is time to start expanding some more. Over here, I think a few low-rent houses could also do, as that would make sense as it's sort of near a highway. That seems to be demand satisfied, and I think now we can actually turn our attention back to the industrial area. I think this area is looking pretty nice, and traffic flow actually still seems to be working, which is a very good thing. And I really do think this bridge was a good idea, as I think it just looks cool and adds a lot to the city. Now, I'm really not sure what's going on with, like, all these fires everywhere. Somehow there's a park on fire, but who knows, because I feel like I've never seen this many fires in a city. Also, something we can see is 8 people died in this fire, which is very unfortunate, so I do want to really just fix traffic, and I just am not sure how, as there are just so many people. I think one way to do this would maybe be getting rid of these two crosswalks, as there are super frequent crosswalks. Also, something I noticed before was that there really just weren't enough hearses in the city, so I do just want to add one upgrade. See, 10 out of 10 are being used. So I am just going to put one hearse garage right there. Also, something else I want to do is, now that traffic seems to have been fixed over here, I do just want to shrink this road down to have a median. Actually, I think I'll just leave it as a 4-lane without a median, and then I'll add some trees on the side. I think that looks much better and adds a little bit more trees, character, and I think makes the city just slightly better. Now, I do also want to check on our telecom coverage, and as we can see, it has once again gotten pretty bad because we've added so many people, homes, and things like that. So I think the way to fix this again is just going to be to add another tower right here, which I will have to get rid of these castle ruins. I think I could actually add 2 more, as that will, like, really just give us plenty for a long time. Look at that, there's a tornado going through here. Hopefully it leaves my newly built bridge alone. And again, though, what I'm noticing is demand is really high. But speaking of demand and people, I do want to check on our schools to make sure we have enough capacity. High schools over here do, and the elementary schools really don't. Actually, they do, never mind, I forgot about this one. And I do just want to check over here. This school is full, this school is almost full, and now we have enough money to the point where we can actually give it some upgrades. And I think we could just upgrade this school to give it more capacity too. And I think we should also check on these schools over here. We have enough high schools, but I don't think we have enough elementary schools. And as we can see, our college really is just being used. And this actually makes me want to develop more in this area. As far as where we could build more homes, I think we could just continue on the streak of along here. And that's a few houses down, which I think should add a very large amount of people, as they are a high density building, medium density, and a large medium density building. So, as far as schools go, we need to look for another place to put a school. Also, I do just want to rebuild this park. So for schools, I think the place that we would probably put one might be here. I think that this is a fair spot to put a school, as it is pretty central. There are plenty of people who live around it. And I think we can kind of cancel out the fact that there's a highway there and a tram track there by just putting quite a few trees. High density demand is back, so I do want to place another building here. And the reason I'm choosing to place buildings over here is because I do want more people to use the college, and the more people in the general vicinity of the college, the more people I believe use it. Something else I want to do is maybe add another library, as we have the money, and the dropout rate is actually decently high, and libraries actually reduce that. So I think we could place it right next to the other one. I will just leave a little bit of space there though, as there really aren't a ton of places to cross here. So I will just slot in a pass-through park. And I think that actually looks pretty good. Now I think I'll just put a few trees. I do also think a few low-rent housing units would be pretty beneficial to the area, so I think I'll place them around here. Unfortunately though, demand has died for high density, so we won't be able to do that, but we see one can be built there now. And I think this is going to be good because college students will actually use the homes. I do also just want to put a crosswalk here so that we can complete the whole easier to get to the college theme. Fortunately though, it's not really letting us, so I do think we should add a crosswalk there, and put a traffic light on it. Additionally, looking over here, we can see that there is probably a need for more trams. So I do think we can just add one more tram, and that should fix our problem. Again, high density demand is here, so I will put another building. I will also continue developing over here. I did also place down another park just to make travel easier. Now I am seeing more demand for businesses, so I do want to look as where we could place them. And I think the answer is probably just going to be along here. I'm not sure why, but the two exact same buildings are trying to zone in. Nonetheless, I do want to try to get our gas station, which we've been trying to get for a while. And there we go, we got our gas station finally. And just so it doesn't look horrible, I will add a few trees around it. housing demand is back up, so I will continue to build our low rent housing. And there we go, we filled out this kind of row. Checking on the college, I think a few more people did start attending, which is pretty nice. I also do want to check if we do have any loans, and we don't. I thought I remembered we did, but that's actually a good thing that we don't. Now I do want to check over here again, and sort of develop here, because as we remember, if we dwell over here too fast, traffic becomes horrible, and way too many problems arise. We also want to check on our hospital, and we can see it is working pretty nicely, which is lovely actually. I do also want to fully dedicate both of these medical clinics to our other district here, because this district has a hospital. Now also, just because we have the money, I do want to build the specialized treatment ward because it helps citizens just being in the area remain healthier. Now I also think the trauma center would be useful because we have the money and there are again lots of people who live nearby. I do want to look into zoning more buildings, and I think the easiest one to re-add would be this one, as it will just be taken up by them. And again, we aren't seeing a ton of demand for housing, but we are seeing demand for industry. So I think I will just build some of that now. But something else I want to keep in mind is maybe we do connect this road over here and add an intersection. Now I am wondering if it might make sense to buy this tile and maybe put a much smaller clover leaf that connects this road and puts it over there and connects it to the highway. And I think that might actually be the move because it will add a lot of connectivity that we didn't previously have. That's a tornado. And that actually I think is going to our newer city. Oh no, it's running away. Good. Alright, I'm just gonna go back to building the highway then. And that is our interchange done. And honestly, this is looking like one of our most successful highway upgrades, because I really don't think I've seen a highway get this much use after just being made. So I think this is going to be a huge, huge benefit to the city. Over here, I think it would make sense to put a roundabout, just because there's not a ton of traffic, but continuous flow should keep it good and flowing nicely. Now, again, we do have demand, so I am just going to keep building more buildings. Now, I do just want to check on our port to see how well it's doing. And we can see that we actually have a surplus of a lot of items. We're only in a deficit of metal, ore, and concrete, which is actually pretty good. Now, as we can see, traffic flow isn't perfect right now. But I do think it is fine, because I think in the future, if it really does become an issue, we could just put a roundabout and that should fix it. Now, something that might be a little more difficult with the highway is maybe adding our railroad. But I think that if we just take it as an underpass, probably over here, just to keep the area staying consistent, we'll probably build nothing over here and continue building over here. And I think we could actually do that now. I think that actually looks pretty good. Now, something else I want to do is definitely add this whole industrial area to this district. I think next time what we'll do is definitely make a district dedicated to the industrial area, giving it its own police, fire, and really any other service it needs. For now, I think this is a good place to leave off, as we have set up our infrastructure for a really long time, I believe. Anyways, that's the end of this video, and I really want to thank you for watching through the whole thing. It really means a lot. In the meantime, if you have any questions or suggestions, please leave them down below, and have yourself a great day.